Hey everyone, welcome back. There's a lot happening right now that you need to know about, and I'm going to connect the dots for you. Before we dive in, let me remind you of something important. I used to be inside one of the biggest media outlets you've ever heard of. I watched how stories got twisted, how facts got buried when they didn't fit the agenda, and I walked away from all of that. Now I work for myself, I answer to no one, and I tell you what's actually going on. If you value that kind of honesty, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you really want to support independent journalism that doesn't bow to corporate overlords, consider becoming a channel sponsor. It means the world to me, and it keeps this operation running without compromises. Let's get into it. Germany just conducted a massive police operation, and what they uncovered is both brilliant police work and a disturbing look at how organized fraud has become. Authorities in the northern Westphalia region rounded up 27 people, all between 18 and 26 years old. But here's where it gets interesting. These suspects held passports from multiple countries: Germany, Syria, Bulgaria, even Congo. This wasn't some small-time operation. The scheme was elegant in its simplicity and cruel in its execution. They'd call elderly people, pretending to be from their bank. "Hello, we've noticed suspicious activity on your account. One of our employees is coming to your home right now to collect your card for verification." And people trusted them. Of course they did. When your bank calls, you believe it's your bank. That's normal. That's human. But when trust becomes a weapon, when people exploit that basic decency, that's as low as it gets. The preliminary damage, over 300,000 euros. To catch these criminals, police deployed hundreds of officers across multiple cities, from Cologne to Düsseldorf. 6 suspects are already in custody. Think about this for a second. Some people spend their lives respecting the law, saving for retirement, building something, and others spend that same time figuring out how to steal it. But this time, the fake banking business got shut down, along with its so-called employees. Real bank employees will never come to your home to collect your cards. Never. Remember that. Now, staying in Germany, Chancellor Friedrich Merz made a significant address regarding the second anniversary of the attacks on Israel, those horrific events that took place on October 7, 2023. Merz recorded a message to German citizens with a direct appeal. "Come today, tomorrow, and the day after to our Jewish fellow citizens, wherever you meet them. Support the Jewish communities." He continued, "Let's show together that we stand beside them, and will do everything so that Jews in Germany can live without fear, with confidence in the future." That was the call from the Chancellor, and he admitted something else that's troubling. Germany is experiencing a new wave of unacceptable behavior toward Jewish citizens. It fills him with both shame and concern, he said. Which brings me to another moment involving Chancellor Merz that's worth examining. He recently appeared as the first guest on a new talk show, and let's just say he left the studio looking slightly offended. At least that's how experts analyzed it. Merz tried to convince viewers that everything is going well, that Germany remains a country of opportunity. He demanded more personal responsibility from citizens and assured everyone, "We've already achieved so much." But then the host reminded him about catastrophic economic indicators and disappointing polling numbers. His response? "It's all just public perception. In other words, if you think things are going badly in the country, you're just imagining it." And when the conversation turned to the rising popularity of the right-wing Alternative for Germany party, Merz visibly tensed up. He tried to spin the elections in northern Westphalia as a success, but the host immediately pointed out that AfD also strengthened its position there. The Chancellor almost defensively replied, No, that's not a breakthrough," adding that polls don't really impress him much anyway. The whole conversation had this surreal quality. The host talked about real problems, while the Chancellor seemed to be living in a parallel reality where everything is fine, even wonderful. But here's the most interesting part. When asked about his previous promise that people should feel changed by this past summer, Merz responded, "We can't change every individual fate overnight. Basically, some people felt the change, others will definitely see it later. We can't do it for everyone at once." It's a fascinating defense, you have to admit. If you haven't felt the improvement yet, just wait. It's coming, maybe, eventually. Speaking of contradictions, let's talk about Germany's finance minister, Lars Klingbeil. Someone we all know demands strict austerity from his colleagues and pretty much everyone else. But it seems Lars has decided to economize, just not on himself. The finance ministry, as it turns out, is planning to sign a contract worth nearly €620,000. And what's it for? Photo and video production. That's right. Professional photographers and videographers will be constantly ready to film the minister, whether he's in Berlin or on the other side of the world. The requirements for these specialists are serious. Minimum 4 years of experience in political photography, ability to capture unusual situations, and willingness to work even on holidays. They're expecting up to 225 assignments per year, but that's not all. Makeup artists, stylists, wardrobe consultants, and even lighting assistants are being paid separately. Only a specialist will handle the lighting setup. Basically, it's the full Hollywood star package, except Hollywood stars pay for this out of their own pockets, or their producer's pocket. Lars Klingbeil, he's paying with your tax money. What does the minister himself say about this? His press service has a response ready for everyone. This is standard practice for all federal ministries, and it's all necessary to fulfill the informational mandate. Beautifully said. But the numbers speak for themselves. Just in the first 3 months of this year, the government already spent almost 50. So politics isn't just about fighting over budgets, it's also about fighting for the perfect skin tone before the camera. You really can't make this up. Meanwhile, a new and quite revealing survey was conducted in Germany, and it turns out Germans have the most sympathy for themselves, meaning residents of their own region. That was expected, but there are clear favorites. The absolute leader is Hamburg. Its residents receive the most positive ratings, the most sympathy. Apparently, love for the port city and its free spirit unites both the east and west of the country. Berlin, the capital, ended up in last place for sympathy. Almost every region in the study showed that Berliners are the least loved in Germany. Experts explain this pretty simply. The capital is associated with politics and bureaucracy. And who loves bureaucracy these days? Nobody. Every country, not just Germany, is constantly fighting against it. Interestingly, Eastern Germans feel warmer toward each other than toward residents of the West, while Westerners highly value Bavaria, for example. But Eastern neighbors view it much more critically. At least that's what this exclusive survey conducted by the Free University of Berlin revealed. Since we're on the subject of Berlin, climate activists from the well-known Last Generation movement staged a protest right at the headquarters of the ruling CDU party, Friedrich Merz's party. They demonstrated under the slogan, "Think about it, climate activists are back again." So the group is returning. About 20 protest participants were detained, their identities were established, but most were released shortly after, which was expected. This all happened literally minutes before a CDU executive committee meeting. So you could say the activists provided a kind of warm-up act before the official agenda. Now let's look at something that affects everyone in the European Union, and it's coming fast. On October 14th, the Council of the European Community is set to vote on a law that would require Telegram, Signal, and other messaging apps to scan private conversations before messages are even sent. Officially, this is to protect the youngest generation, but in reality, it's creating a system of total control. Every photo, video, and text message will be checked by artificial intelligence without court approval naturally. Experts and human rights advocates are already warning us. Under the pretext of security, we're opening the door to digital surveillance and censorship. Experts are calling this initiative technically flawed and politically dangerous. Germany will be the deciding country here. Its vote will determine whether an era of digital surveillance over every citizen begins or gets postponed. Because full control can't be avoided forever. Sooner or later it will arrive. Nobody escapes Big Brother. Big Brother will be watching everyone, if we're speaking metaphorically and with a bit of irony. So we're watching closely to see what happens next. The suspense is enormous. Before we wrap up, let me quickly recap what we've covered today. We looked at a major fraud bust in Germany targeting fake bankers who preyed on elderly victims. We examined Chancellor Merz's appeal for supporting Jewish communities, while he simultaneously seemed disconnected from economic reality in a tone-deaf television appearance. We expose Finance Minister Klingbeil's lavish spending on personal image production while demanding austerity from everyone else. We saw how Germans view each other regionally, with Hamburg on top and Berlin at the bottom. Climate activists made their return at CDU headquarters. And perhaps most concerning, we're on the edge of a vote that could end private messaging as we know it across the EU. These aren't isolated stories. They're all part of a pattern, a system that tells you one thing while doing another. That's exactly why I do what I do, why I walked away from the big media machine to bring you this perspective. If this kind of independent reporting matters to you, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and seriously consider becoming a channel sponsor. Your support is what makes this possible, and I don't take that lightly. Drop your thoughts in the comments, let me know what you think about everything we discussed. There's always more to uncover, and I'll be here tomorrow with the next chapter. Stay sharp out there.